Let's be entirely honest with ourselves from the absolute start. The vast majority of personal finance advice you read online is built on a framework of structural restriction. You've heard it 1,000 times before. Cut the daily espresso, skip the weekend brunch, live a life of aggressive daily minimization, and then, if you wait patiently for 4 decades, you might finally enjoy your capital. But here is the foundational flaw in that logic. It treats all spending as an equal financial loss. It looks at the money leaving your bank account as a flat, negative metric. Today, we are completely reversing that narrative on Finance with Golden. The reality of economic life in Europe today is that you will have to spend capital. Commerce is non-negotiable. But what separates the top 5% of wealth builders from the rest isn't that they spend €0. It's that when they do open their wallets, they treat their purchases as an asymmetric investment. They buy things that claw back their time, protect their physical health, optimize their daily output, or completely eliminate structural leaks in their monthly budget. Think of these not as luxury purchases, but as absolute financial prerequisites. If you have recently scaled your business, landed a higher-paying corporate contract in London, Frankfurt, or Paris, or finally generated surplus disposable income, your immediate instinct might be to look at lifestyle upgrades. Before you change your zip code or buy a watch, you need to clear the baseline. In this video, we are breaking down the 10 precise high ROI purchases you must make first to build a bulletproof foundation for your wealth. The math we are going to run today is exact. It is institutional, and it will completely change how you view your daily capital velocity. Let's get straight into it. Number 1. A professional-grade chef's knife and a heavy-gauge non-stick pan. Now, if you are a busy professional or an entrepreneur running a digital agency, cooking might feel like an inefficient use of your billable hours. So what do? You open an app? You order a quick midday meal to your office in Berlin or your apartment in Amsterdam. Let's look at the hidden economic drain of this habit. Across major European metropolitan centers, the average urban professional spends roughly 12 to 18 euros per single takeout lunch or casual dinner meal, especially when you factor in delivery fees, service charges, and regional VAT. If you are doing this just once a day, that translates to an easy 400 euros a month, nearly 5,000 euros a year, on baseline sustenance alone. But why do people do this? They don't do it because they hate the kitchen. They do it because their kitchen infrastructure is highly inefficient. Trying to prepare a clean meal with a dull, lightweight knife from a supermarket checkout aisle and a warped, thin pan that burns everything it touches is an incredibly frustrating experience. It turns cooking into an unwanted chore. When you spend roughly 150 to 250 euros on a single, high-character forged steel knife, like a classic Wusthof or a premium Japanese blade, alongside a heavy, multi-clad pan, you are completely changing the experience. You are buying structural efficiency. Let's run the numbers. If you substitute just 4 restaurant meals a week with a rapid, high-yield one-pan meal at home, you drop your per-meal cost from 16 euros down to an ingredient baseline of about 4 euros. That is a clean 12 euro arbitrage per meal. Over a 52-week year, that simple habit modification reclaims nearly 2,500 euros in pure, untaxed liquid capital. All of that return flows directly from an initial 200 euro tool investment. That is an immediate, massive annualized return on capital, and it keeps your physical energy levels optimized for your core income-producing work. Number 2. A highly optimized, strategic rewards or cashback card system. Now, we must address a very specific cultural reality here. Across Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, and large parts of Europe, there is an institutional preference for the traditional debit card, the Girocard, the Maestro, or direct bank transfers. The cultural mindset is simple. If I do not have the physical cash in my hand, or settled in my current account, I do not spend it. While that mindset is highly effective at preventing consumer debt, it also subjects you to an invisible, continuous financial leak. Every single time you execute a consumer transaction using a standard debit card, you are leaving free capital on the table. If you are a financially disciplined individual who understands cash flow, you should route your predictable, baseline monthly expenses through a premium rewards card system, paying the balance down to zero every single billing cycle. In the European landscape, due to strict regulatory caps on interchange fees, flat 2% cashback cards are rare compared to the US market. However, the arbitrage still exists through advanced travel miles, premium bank points, or ecosystem-specific business cards. If your corporate or personal baseline expenditure across lifestyle, utilities, travel, and business operations sits at roughly 3,000 euros a month, that is, 36,000 euros passing through your hands annually. by capturing even a modest 1.5% to 2% value return via travel optimization or direct statement credits, you claw back 500 to 700 euros a year out of thin air. This is capital you are already legally obligated to spend. The vital caveat here is absolute financial maturity. A rewards card is an administrative tool, not an extension of your purchasing power. If you carry a balance for even a single month, the double-digit interest charges will completely erase years of calculated rewards points. But if you handle it with strict precision, you turn an everyday expense into a continuous stream of passive value. Number 3. Systematically maxing out your tax-advantaged investment vehicles before any lifestyle luxury. This isn't a physical product you can showcase on a social media feed, but it is the single most critical asset purchase you will ever make. In a European context, this means deeply understanding and utilizing your local tax-shielded accounts, whether that is an ISA in the United Kingdom, a P in France, or a self-directed, long-term brokerage account focused on compounding tax-efficient UCITS ETFs across Germany and the Nordics. When you invest through a standard, unprotected account, your capital is continuously weighed down by capital gains taxes and dividend distributions year after year. A tax-advantaged wrapper removes that drag entirely, allowing every single euro of return to compound undisturbed. Let's look at the mathematical reality of early velocity. If you allocate 600 euros a month into a globally diversified equity index fund tracking the top companies in the world, and you capture a historical, inflation-adjusted 7 to 8% annualized return, look at what happens over a 30-year professional career. Your total personal principal contribution is roughly 216,000 euros. But your final tax-sheltered nest egg scales to over 800,000 euros. More than €500,000 of that final figure is pure, untaxed capital growth. The cost of delaying this purchase is staggering. If you choose to wait just 5 years, preferring to spend that monthly capital on premium vehicle leases or high-end apparel in your early 20s, that simple, 5-year delay can easily slice 80,000 to 100,000 euros off your final lifetime net worth. Do not trade your long-term financial sovereignty for temporary consumer satisfaction. Open the account, automate the transaction on the first day of every month, and treat it as a non-negotiable living expense. Number 4. A reliable, meticulously researched used vehicle that has already absorbed its primary depreciation curve. We live in a world dominated by visual projection. The second an entrepreneur or a corporate professional crosses a specific income milestone, the very first thing they want to change is what they drive. It is an immediate social signal, but from an asset allocation perspective, a brand new vehicle is one of the fastest ways to destroy liquid net worth. The second a new car leaves the showroom floor, it suffers an immediate structural hit to its valuation, often losing 15 to 20% of its total purchase price in the first 12 months alone. By year 3, that asset is frequently worth barely half of its original retail price. Let's look at the true cost of financing a new vehicle in Europe today. Between high corporate lease rates, interest charges, and comprehensive insurance premiums for high-end new models, a professional can easily commit 600 to 800 euros a month to a rapidly depreciating piece of metal. Compare that to purchasing a clean, 3 to 5-year-old vehicle from an incredibly reliable manufacturer, like a well-maintained Volkswagen, Toyota, or BMW, that has already passed through that initial, punishing steep drop in value. If you acquire that vehicle at 22,000 euros instead of 45,000 euros, you are saving tens of thousands of euros in upfront capital. Even if you choose to finance a portion of it, your monthly overhead drops significantly. Furthermore, your annual insurance premiums plunge, and your capital isn't locked up in a rapidly diminishing asset. A vehicle's primary economic utility is to move you from point A to point B safely and efficiently. Let your peers absorb the initial 20,000 euro depreciation hit while you deploy your capital into assets that actually pay you dividends. Number 5 and number 6 on our list are completely intertwined. A premium, orthopedically designed mattress, and a fully optimized, high-output ergonomic desk setup. Think about this structural reality. You are human. You cannot escape the physical, biological constraints of your body. If you live to be 80 years old, you will spend roughly 25 of those years in absolute, deep sleep, and if you are a knowledge worker, content creator, or digital entrepreneur, you will spend another 20 to 25 years sitting or standing at a desk. That means over half of your entire existence on this planet is spent in 2 exact locations, your bed and your office chair. Yet it is incredibly common to see people spend over 1,000 euros on the newest smartphone without hesitation. while simultaneously sleeping on a cheap, sagging mattress they bought online years ago and working off a small laptop screen while hunched over a kitchen table. This is a massive operational error. Poor sleep quality produces a compounding deficit in your cognitive sharpness, your emotional resilience, and your daily executive focus. If you wake up tired, with low-level back tension, or a subtle headache from poor neck alignment, your income-producing capacity for that day is instantly compromised. By investing 1,000 to 1,500 euros into an elite, supportive mattress that perfectly aligns your spine, and upgrading your workspace with an adjustable standing desk, a professional ergonomic chair like a Herman Miller or a Steelcase, and an expansive dual-monitor display, you are building an elite performance environment. The dual-monitor setup alone has been structurally proven to elevate mechanical data processing and creative output speed by 10 to 20%. You work faster, you eliminate physical strain, you preserve your posture, and you cross the finish line of your workday with sustained mental clarity. You cannot out-earn a broken, exhausted body. Invest heavily in your physical architecture. Number 7. Continuous, specialized self-education and technical micro-credentials. Let's talk about the absolute ceiling on standard financial savings. If you optimize your kitchen habits, you save a few thousand euros a year. If you buy a used car, you save tens of thousands over a few years. That is fantastic, but those savings are structurally capped. You can never save more money than you actually earn. The true unlock for exponential wealth creation is changing the upward trajectory of your primary income stream. And the single most efficient way to achieve that is through targeted, high-value skill acquisition. Too many professionals graduate from university and assume their formal learning era is completely closed. In the modern European economic landscape, where technologies like artificial intelligence, advanced data analytics, and cloud architecture are shifting entire industries overnight, standing still is the equivalent of moving backward. If you allocate a dedicated budget of just 500 to 1,000 euros a year toward elite online specialization courses, professional certificates, or intensive technical boot camps, you are playing an asymmetric game. Consider the math. You spend 500 euros on an advanced certificate program specializing in prompt engineering, data automation, or regional corporate tax strategy. That specific knowledge base allows you to pitch for a higher-tier corporate role, negotiate a stronger consultancy contract, or optimize your agency's delivery speed. If that skill results in a modest salary increase of just 1,000 euros more per month, you have generated a 12,000 euro annual return on a 500 euro initial investment. That is an astronomical return on capital. Best of all, that knowledge becomes a permanent part of your personal value proposition. It can never be inflated away, it cannot be taxed out of your mind, and it compounds with every single business deal you close for the rest of your life. Items 8, 9, and 10 bring our entire strategic philosophy full circle, establishing a library of elite personal finance literature, investing heavily in proactive, preventative healthcare, and purchasing high-performance, structurally sound, everyday footwear. Think about how most people approach their health or their money. They operate entirely reactively. They wait until they are facing a severe financial mistake or high-interest debt before they finally pick up a book like The Psychology of Money or The Millionaire Next Door. They wait until their body faces structural exhaustion or a severe medical issue before they finally book a professional physical therapy checkup or look closely at their wellness habits. But reactive care in Europe, whether it is the hidden economic cost of sick leave, expensive private medical interventions, or the devastating mental drain of chronic burnout, is incredibly expensive. When you spend capital proactively, whether that means buying books that rewire your relationship with risk, paying out of pocket for deep preventative physical analysis to catch muscle imbalances early, or spending a premium on everyday footwear that perfectly absorbs the impact of walking on hard urban concrete, you are playing defense. You are actively protecting your most valuable wealth-generating asset, yourself. If your body breaks down, or if your mental clarity fractures under stress, your ability to manage